Hello, everybody. How are you all? Good morning on a Friday morning. Hope you are all doing well. I got a very juicy topic today. Uh, how can you be having all this, whatever that is, knowledge about something and having that in your reality? That means it's not storing in the mind as a piece of information, but felt reality, especially with things like ancient wisdom. It's a personal challenge for me when I heard this question from a um, spiritual um, exposition of mind and its activities and how it could be deluded that all that we know is enough versus how that is producing results in real life, right? That means some change we talked about, some transformation we talked about, is it really happening in our reality? Is that a felt reality? The question for me was the non-dual nature of our nature, and had an understanding about it, but is that felt reality? That was the question, right? So there were ways to do that, basically understanding the mind and how to go beyond the mind structure, you know so simply put, if your mind is directed to the world and to really see what somebody is saying, and then thinking about that is materialistic, versus if somebody is saying to you and then something, and how you are watching your mind reacting, that means you're studying about your own mind. That is spiritual. See, that was the context where we took it upon. We could be reading a lot of books, we could be watching a lot of YouTubes, you should be writing a lot of stuff from your own mind. All that consolidates your understanding. But is that whatever you understood, like a non-dual reality I was talking about, is that a felt reality or is that a concept? That is a personal question everybody will have to pose, and then see how many things we have read and how many things of those we are actually living, felt reality. So for that, there are so many ways to go beyond the mind. That's It could be several types of yogas. It could be work and your karma yoga, your devotion and your bhakti yoga, your focus, your Raj Yoga, and your knowledge, your Gnana Yoga. These four are always happening together for us, and how we integrate them is the result of how our reality inside each one of us. So that was a personal question for me, and when I explored that, there were several ways to do that. Basically, to feel that reality beyond all my thinking, all my conclusions, all my concepts, I need to have a standstill of that thinking, right? And then I will be stationed in that real self of mine, and then use all the understandings, all the knowings to uh, spread it around or share it or present it to people, not to force them, but more like a uh, maybe they will have better understanding of that, and also they will bring it into their own life. That's up to them to decide. We are nobody to decide you had to do this and then change this way, unless it's like a legal thing and all that, right? These are psychological, inner felt realities that people want to change, not just knowing a concept, but also making sure that is really having the results. For example, ancient wisdom results were you are beyond suffering. That means even the suffering comes to you, you are stationed your real self, and you do watch the mind. That is called Moni Bodha. That means transforming the mind and then understanding the reactions better, right? So that kind of thing. So if the results are transcending the suffering, or understanding and going beyond it, and not reacting when the suffering conditions are presented to us in our life, right? Versus uh, second thing is being blissful and jolly and happy in life. Okay, these two results are not there, then you have really not brought in ancient wisdom into your life. Okay, that's the standard against which I kind of very steady when I face problems in life, and not allowing my mind to react just by watching them, not indulging in those reactions, and then watching them and they fade away, and then they have all the energy to solve the problem, right? And also, because these things are getting minimal, I spend kind of joyful way of my days. Okay, not worrying, not thinking about disasters, not having any depression about things that were not done. None of it, because you always march into the next moment and you live that moment completely. That present moment awareness really helps me to put things in perspective and solve them, and not to imagine dangers, or not to hope for miracles, but taking things as they come, right? And that becomes transcending the suffering because of the thought, or transcending suffering because of the reactions we have to events, and also not developing these unfavorable things in our mind. Okay, so it is the body that is inert, that's going to go through the changes. Even though you do a lot of dieting, a lot of exercise and all, it does go through the changes, and it will uh, come to an end later, right, for everybody. But you can have a quality of life. That's what we aim for. But it's the mind that changes all the time, that brings in all the. So you got to understand how to still the mind, how to quieten the mind, and to still for long term. That is called samadhi in yoga, and you can do that in the morning, in the evening, and it will be wonderful to live that day, because you are approaching with a fresh mind, and you are kind of washing off whatever you accumulated during the day at the end of the day, and then sleeping on a empty and quiet and silent mind, right? So you can quiet the mind, and then you can really still the mind, right? If you can do the S2, then you can touch your real self, and you can station in that. So now, anybody may say you are this, you have so much knowledge and all that, but you yourself have to see, am I just talking that knowledge, or am I really making it a reality into my life? You know, and that's what I was focused on, and that's what I discovered. I do live that. When I'm not living that, I'm aware that I'm not, and then I'll come back to it. So it has become more and more of living it rather than just talking about it. But in talking about it also reinforces your understanding. If you don't have any intention of imposing this on anybody else, you are fine. You are just sharing, and then you are not expecting anything from the other, unless they ask you a doubt, unless they ask you certain questions, you can answer them. Otherwise, don't expect anything. So I don't have any expectations from anybody like that. But if they ask me something, I will answer to the best of my knowledge, and then let them make it their own, and then implement on their own. How much they implement or not, depends upon their level of growth, level of understanding, level of what to go, or they may be already doing that. For simple things, you can start from physical all the way to the. You say, Okay, am I following the right diet? Am I following the right way of cooking? Am I following the right way of eating? Am I following the principle of eating only when you are hungry, and when you eat also you eat slowly? All those things come into place. Okay, but you can watch outward things very easily what I'm doing, but is the inward subtle things about our reactions with a thought that is felt this is correct, and then anybody comes and challenges, you kind of react violently to maybe you don't even care, that kind of thing is there. So that subtle inward things only you will know, nobody else will know, right? And only you will feel whatever you feel. So that is where I am focusing. So that's how, because get up in the morning, don't let it go all over, calm it, quieten it, and then still the thought. That is the samadhi. Even for a few seconds, few minutes is wonderful. Okay, but you can do it for a long time if you are doing it for some time, right? And then develop the day, respond to whatever it is with your innate natural self. Okay, stationed in that, then you can understand your conditioning, your uh, set pattern or reactions and all that. Then you can change them, you know. And then if they are negative, you can turn it to positive. If they are really too optimistic, not realistic, then you can slow down and say, wait, let me do this first, then I go to the next one. If you spend the whole day like that, at the end of the day, you can again attempt to forget all the thoughts from your mind and then become empty and sleep. And then that becomes very nice, and uh, really becomes good practice in daily life that will help you to really enjoy a life full of tenacity to the challenges of life, and also to be joyful to whatever you are doing. If you are expecting something and it doesn't happen, then you know that's a mind reaction. But you are stationed in your real self, which is beyond the mind. Okay, so that way you can have the results of not succumbing to the challenges of life or the suffering and all that, and also generally being quiet and happy and joyful, right? That's the reality that is there. I hope this makes sense to you, but this is immense sense to me. It's a question by me to my inside. Am I just repeating the ancient wisdom? You can know all that knowledge, or am I really uh, tranquilizing my mind, spiritualizing my mind? That's a word, spiritualizing my mind. You see, if you look with the mind to the world and assessing everybody else and all the reactions, then you are materialistic. But if you look at your own mind, how it is reacting, and then knowing who is that looking at my mind, and station in the real self of yours, then you are spiritual because you are in the spirit, not in the mind. You are observing the mind's reaction from the spirit. So, stationed in the spirit, watch the mind, then you can have a chance of transforming it. Otherwise, these reactions become more and more hardwired, and they become your set pattern, set personality, and then you think I'm made like this, right? Then the mind will take you on a ride for so many troubles, so many problems, and then at the end of the day, you won't be coming out of that. Okay, so that is what we were talking about this morning, and hopefully that makes sense to you all. If you have any questions, you can DM me or you can come up now before I close this in another few minutes. Okay.